As you probably already know, coming into Splatoon 3's Sizzle Season, the 4.0 update heavily nerfed the Sloshing Machine. Adding 5 frames between each shot really slowed the weapon down, and while Machine has been a staple in almost every single Splatoon 3 meta, being able to deal with the Splash-O-Matic, Crab Tank, and even the new kind of ballpoint and its inkjet spam, notably, in top-level competitive, Machine has fallen off hard in usage. Teams went from running 2 of them sometimes to none at all. Sloshing Machine has become even more susceptible to faster-paced, quick respawn comps featuring maybe a Tetradoolies or a Splatana Wiper, etc. But why was Machine so good anyways? Because I really don't think we've seen the last of this weapon in top level. There's something this weapon can do that most weapons just can't, so we're going to talk about that today. If you like my Splatoon 3 content, please subscribe. Thank you so much for the support on the channel, and let's go ahead and get into today's discussion. So the main weapon and the special weapon are kind of the highlights here, but let's go ahead and talk about the main weapon first. So Machine is an AoE weapon, or what's called an area of effect weapon. I'm going to be referring to it as AoE, just to make it simpler. And what it's able to do, obviously, it kind of gives it a large hitbox, and you hear about that all the time, to more reliably hit somebody. But what it also does is it lets you hit people that you can't even see. So if someone on this ledge right here is like sharking, either under it or like on this wall, Machine is able to hit them without having to actually see them. That's something that almost all AoE weapons can do. You don't have to look at the person. Let's say someone's behind tower here, I can still just go ahead and shoot them. Let's say the tower is at this checkpoint here, and obviously the defense is going to be mostly set up on this ledge or even this ledge. Well, as you can see, the Sloshing Machine can pressure all of this ledge to get this space very reliably. I don't even have to use my sub-weapon at all. And then, of course, you have Booyah Bomb, and if you really need to clear a space, if they're really set up, you just throw a Booyah Bomb, and now that whole ledge is cleared, 110%. And the Fizzy Bomb kind of glues these two pieces together. It lets you kind of pressure a space from farther away, or maybe you're on the way to that space, so you throw a Fizzy, and then the Fizzy's doing damage, and you come in and combo with it. And in any kind of neutral situation, you can kind of throw Fizzy Bombs, and as you're throwing Fizzy Bombs, not only are you just throwing out hitboxes, but you're also probably charging your Booyah Bomb up in the top right. Just look how much a Fizzy Bomb is able to paint and charge up your special meter. As I mentioned earlier, Splash-O-Matic was obviously really meta, and still kind of is. Machine was a perfect weapon for dealing with Splash, because not only did it outrange Splash, it could hit Splash before the Splash could even hit it. It could also kind of force a Crab Tank into ball form, because it could hit the Crab Rider with its large hitbox and slosh kind of over the Crab. The biggest thing, though, with Sloshing Machine, as this is a complete package. You will find other weapons in Splatoon 3 that can do this. You will find other weapons in Splatoon 3 that can do this. You will find other weapons in Splatoon 3 that can do this. There is one single weapon in Splatoon 3 that can do all 3 of those things in one match whenever it needs to. If it's able to get up here, it can use its main weapon. If it's a little bit farther away, it can use its sub-weapon. If it's really far away and there's like a whole setup on that ledge, it can use its Booyah Bomb. The Machine has so many tools for controlling space in the game that almost no other weapons can do. The reason area of effect weapons are so important is because it just lets you do so much without really exposing yourself. As a Splash-O-Matic, if someone's sharking like right here, I can't do anything about it without really looking at them. These bullets falling here are unlikely, very unlikely to do damage, even with perfect accuracy. And if they do damage, there's going to be fall-off damage. It's going to be less impactful than it would be if I was shooting straight at them. I have to expose myself to shoot right here. So it kind of leaves me at an either neutral or disadvantaged kind of position. And then if I want to pressure this ledge, while an AoE weapon can just kind of easily shoot up here with its full damage, I'm kind of awkwardly jumping here. See how my bullets are kind of caught on the ledge here? And it's just hard. And again, if bullets do hit them, it's kind of really unreliable. I'm probably missing a lot. And I'm also just jumping here, being very vulnerable. Someone could just come at me from here, or jump down from here, or a sloshing machine can shoot at me from much farther away and be able to do full damage at me, and I can't really do anything about it. Most weapons, if they don't have area of effect, they have to rely on bombs. Okay, and bombs, they work. They do enough. But you're giving up over half your ink tank, and without any ink efficiency, and I'm running Sub-Saver on this, you're giving up half your ink tank, and you're not, while you're doing that, you're not putting paint down, you might not be as prepared for a fight. Bombs are also just kind of slow to go off. It's not instant damage unless you have like a splat bomb, burst bomb, or fizzy bomb. Stuff like torpedoes, suction bombs, auto bombs, they have some wind up before they actually do damage. And of course, you know, I have a special too. And while Ink Strike might not clear as much as Booyah Bomb, it's something. But what about when I don't have my special? And yes, I can charge it pretty fast, but there's still going to be plenty of moments where I don't have my special, while a machine can be doing the same thing to pressure the same space. So having an area of effect weapon, or an AoE weapon, is just very important. So I was thinking, when Machine got nerfed, what other AoE weapon are teams going to start picking to kind of replace Machine? But the thing is, I don't know if there really is anything that can replace Machine and do what Machine does. The classes I looked at first, obviously, are Sloshers here and Blasters. Okay, these are the most reliable AoE. Some of the rollers can kind of do AoE, like Big Swig, Dynamo, but they're either not as reliable or they have their own problems. Something like the regular Blaster seemed like a pretty good fit. You know, it can do pretty good AoE damage. It has an auto bomb, which isn't the fastest bomb, but it's still a bomb. And that's pretty cool, but, you know, it has Big Bubbler. And Big Bubbler, while it lets you hold space, it's not really doing much for you being able to take space. Like, maybe I could get up on this ledge here, but if it's like the Mako Mart example, I can't swim up this ledge. I also had a lot of faith here in the Rapid Blaster Deco, and this is also a pretty good option. This has more range than the Blaster, and it does pretty reliable damage. It can, you know, direct, and they're very weak. It has a torpedo, though, which, again, it's just slower. It's not as reliable. It can get shot down. Definitely not a fizzy bomb. And, you know, Inkjet's very good, but torpedo, if it gets shot down, it's not helping you charge your Inkjet. And with it being 210p, even more expensive than Ballpoint, when the lack of paint this thing kind of produces, it's very hard to have Inkjet reliably anyways. Machine gets around this issue by, again, having a fizzy bomb. So the weapon we really saw replacing Machine was, of course, the vanilla slosher here, or the bucket as people like to call it. It does really good damage, really consistent. There's only one type of damage it does. It has a splat bomb. It goes off really quickly. That's great. It can even combo with the splat bomb if they're not running bomb defense. So it's pretty cool. The problem now becomes Ink Strike. And what I said earlier about weapons being a complete package. This is so close to being a complete package. But if it wants to use Tri-Strike, it's not like Booyah Bomb, where you pop it and you have a shield that protects you. You are very vulnerable. You cannot swim when you have Tri-Strike. So you're just very vulnerable. You probably have to back up a little bit to use it. So there's still just a flaw there that Machine doesn't have. So with no good alternative to Sloshing Machine in a single weapon, the second best option for controlling that kind of space is relying on bomb spam from stuff like Splash-O-Matics, maybe throw a Splatana Stamper in there, and then maybe the Ballpoint Splatling with its fizzy bombs. And there's a slew of other weapons that can kinda use similar strategies, but it's still not going to be as reliable as a main weapon, being able to impact people that you can't even see. While top teams have foregone Machine for the initial nerf and increased weaknesses, playing more burst bomb spam with Splash and Stamper, or maybe even quicker comps with Tetradualies, ink brushes, wipers, it still stands as possibly the best option in the game to control space and impact fights with its consistent damage without putting itself at risk. While faster comps have worked in Splatoon 3 many times, the staple meta of top level since the start of Splatoon 2, and especially Splatoon 3, has almost always been about control. So I don't think we've seen the last of Sloshing Machine, and we may not until we get a new weapon that's able to do what Machine can. Maybe current weapons like the Slosher, maybe it gets some kind of ink strike mobility change, and maybe then it can finally do what Machine can. But for now, I just don't see it. But maybe I'm wrong. Splatoon 3's meta has never been this unstable, as for the first few weeks of this new season, the NZAP 85 with Tacticooler has been the star. So what do you think about the Sloshing Machine after its nerf? Let me know in the comments below. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.